Hello everyone. This is your chapter 3 lecture video. For this chapter we'll be talking about the identity. Remember, this is one of your reasons why we communicate from chapter 1, identity needs. Okay? So first, of course, you have your self-concept. This is a relatively stable of perceptions you hold for yourself. This is what you think of you, not what others think. It's what you think of you. Okay, this can be distorted. This can have multiple different, aspects to it. It could be wrong. Other people may not see you this way, but it's how you see yourself. This will impact communication because if you see yourself as a confident person, you're going to speak confidently. Self esteem is another thing, the evaluation of your self worth. You have high self esteem, you think highly of yourself. You can have low self esteem, think lowly, very lowly of yourself. This does affect communication because, again, people with high self esteem have no problem communicating their thoughts and ideas. People with low self esteem do have a problem. Okay? The next slide talks about the biological and the social roots. Were you born this way or were you made this way? Personality is something that is embedded in you. It is a part of your personality. So guess what, ladies? Those of you who say you're nothing like your mother, guess what? You are. But you got to remember, personality trumps everything. This will overcome all racial obstacles. This will overcome all gender roles. This will overcome everything. Personality. If you have a very strong personality, it can lead you to many different places. Other things, socialization, were you made this way? Environment. Yes, environment plays a very big part of how we grow up. If you grow up around strong people, then you're going to witness them being strong and you may copy them. We do have social comparisons that we do. All of us do this. It just depends on how much it impacts us. There are two reference groups. Of course, there's superior and inferior. Someone is so great and I'm so awful. And then the second one is, do I stand out or do I fit in? These are the two reference groups. So, for men, it tends to be more stand out and fit in. So, it's the things we own, materialistic. If we want to fit in, then we buy what everybody else is buying. For women, it tends to be a little bit unrealistic because it deals a lot with body image. I need to look this way in order to be this happy. And it's unrealistic because not even the women on the cover of those magazines look like that. So I like this picture just because the haircuts. But like I said, the self concept, it is distorted positively and negatively. It is done by obsolete information, not having the whole story. Distorted feedback, people telling you all your life you're perfect, you're perfect. You start to believe you're perfect, or the other way. Stupid, I think it's one of the most horrible words in the world, and yet we say it all the time around children. Don't be stupid, don't act stupid, you're being stupid. Well, if a child hears that over and over and over, he's going to become stupid, he's going to act stupidly. And then you have perfectionism. Remember, you cannot be perfect. Nobody can be perfect. Social expectations, the minister kids, they are children of ministers, so they're supposed to behave, but yet they're usually the craziest kids and the most fun to party with. But there's social expectations on all of us on how we should behave. I'm an instructor at college. I'm supposed to behave a certain way. Society sees that way, you know. We have internet intermediated. Remember, mediated was just using technology to communicate. So, what you need to do is remember reflective appraisal is just looking back in a moment to determine its wealth. Same thing with internet. Things you view on the internet. Does it really make you upset or is it really the truth? Are you really investigating everything? How many of you know people that see something and they think, oh, it's true, it's true? And it could not be. You need to do more research and look up things. Remember though, self concept does resist change. This is cognitive conservatism. We're used to it, so we like to do it. Things that are unfamiliar to us are scary. So you tend to seek out things that are the same to you. That's like when you were in high school and would go on school trips. Hardly anybody would venture out on their own because they like to be around things that are familiar. This is when you go to another town, but yet you eat at restaurants that are familiar to you. Okay? You can change your your self-image. You need to have realistic perceptions, realistic expectations. Realize that change doesn't happen overnight. Have the will to change and have the skill. Remember, nobody can change you but you. You can be momentarily trained, but eventually you're going to go back to your old ways. So you want to change. Two things that will impact two things that will impact everything in this class is culture and gender. And what will trump that? That's personality. It'll overcome cultural barriers and it'll overcome gender barriers. But our culture has a very big impact on our communication and our self identity. We live in a very individualistic society here in America. Me, I. You look at those semis, it says, "How's my driving?" They don't have that anywhere else because nobody cares. In America, we have those stupid little videos on YouTube. If you haven't seen them, please check them out. But they're reaction videos where people will watch a movie and record their reactions to it. We have that in America because it's individualistic. These people think I am so important or my reaction is so important that other people need to see it. Do we really need to see it? No. So we think of me. What makes me happy? This is why COVID has been a problem in our society as well. Why should I be inconvenienced by wearing a mask? It's my choice. I shouldn't have to wear one if I don't want to. If we will all just put on a mask, like other countries have that been collective, then maybe we could, limit the number of spreading of the COVID-19 virus. Collectivism, the harmony of the group is more important than individual. So people who live in this country have been able to, it's good for everybody, so therefore I wear a mask. That's not a problem for them. For us, individualistic, it's a problem. Okay? Also, you got to remember we have culture identities. We have many Mexican American, African American, Italian American, many different types of cultures that we have that people a lot identify with. Also, this could be geography. We live here in the southwest of the United States. Green chili is a big part of our culture. And then when Colorado said they had green chili, no, they have the devil's lettuce. They have pot. We have the real chili. So things like that. Don't mess with our identity. Don't talk about our identity and things like that. Okay, gender. Unfortunately, people talk differently to men and women. There's a topic out there called mansplaining. So when a man talks down to a woman, it's about things that she probably has no idea, like maybe construction, cars. So when a woman says something, he puts her down in her place. Self-esteem, of course, is also in our gender. In our society here, gender-wise, men have more self-esteem because this is a social norm. Men are supposed to be seen as strong, independent go-getters. Women are not seen this way. If you don't believe me, just look at a man and a woman when they walk by a mirror. A man will look at himself and look in the mirror and be like, oh yeah, I still got it. A woman will look away. Or when somebody tries to take a group picture, men start flexing, making muscles, faces. Women right away shy away. No, don't take my picture. Again, in our culture, this is the way it is. Now, the self-fulfilling prophecy is when people have an expectation of you. So, therefore, you give them the behavior they expect, therefore making it come true. Think about somebody who people do this all the time. Parents, why can't you be like the neighbor's kids? Why can't you be smart like your brother? Well, if you change your behavior and start doing what they expect, that makes a self-fulfilling prophecy come true. Oh, you live on that side of the town. I bet you're a criminal. Well, if you start behaving like a criminal because that's what they expect of you, you make their prophecy come true. There are two types of these. There's self-imposed. You can do this to yourself. And then it's imposed by another person. Somebody else can do this to you. Like I said, parents do this to their children. Workers, bosses do this to their employees. You can do this to yourself. The key thing here is you need to communicate the expectation. If I never tell you what I'm expecting, you're never going to give me what I expect. You can do this yourself. It's called self-talk. You put it in your head, I will pass this class this time. So then you change your behavior to pass it. Therefore, you make it come true. Okay? This is why the positivity, visualization is a very big deal. If you put that a thought in your head that I'm going to fail, you find a way to fail. I do this all the time when I'm around little kids. I always say, don't say a bad word, don't say a bad word. I end up saying a bad word because I put that thought in my head. I make my expectation come true. So that instance, it's self-imposed. Okay? Make sure you read up on this. Impression management is another thing. Identity management is the same. This is communication strategies that people use to influence how others view them. So, if I want you to think of a polite young gentleman, I'm going to use words like yes ma'am, no ma'am, please, may I, because I want you to see me as a positive young man, a polite young man, okay, with manners. So I use these things. If I want to make you think I'm really smart, I use big words, okay? What you have here now is your perceived self. So this is what you think of you. And then your presenting self, which is also referred to as your face. This is what we show the world. You have a face for every situation. You have a face for work. You have a face for school. You have sports. You have a face for that. You have a face for mommy. Okay? There's a lot of face. The key thing here is you need to match up the appropriate face with the appropriate situation. Okay? Why do we have so many faces? Because every communication process is unique. Remember, this comes from chapter 1 on one of the principles. It is unique. Every person's different. There is somebody you could joke around with and say bad words. Then there's other people who get highly offended. So you change your face for the situation. You have an angry customer come in. You have a face for that. You have a happy customer comes in. You have a face for that. You have many, many faces. Now, this does not make you fake. It just makes you adaptable. You need to have a face for every situation. And you even have a face for the, oh, I don't know face. Because there's some things we don't know. Okay? Why do we do this in face-to-face, of course? We have impression management. There are 3 factors. Our manners. This is how we behave. If I want you to believe I'm a polite young man, I sit a certain way. I look a certain way. I probably sit up straight, make eye contact. Appearance, I look very clean cut, very well groomed. And then the setting. This is the environment. Okay? So, I may have awards on my wall to make you think I'm smart. I probably have like Dean's List trophies, spelling bee trophies, all kinds of things to make you think that, okay? The same thing when it comes onto online. We have an avatar, we have a picture of ourselves up there. We can do this with our emails. Some people will put a biblical quote at the bottom of their email. That's to show you part of their personality. You can change fonts, change colors, things like that. Now, impression management and honesty, just like you have in the real world, you have online. People can lie. Okay, a lot of people think it happens more online. That's not true because remember from chapter 2 we talked about hyperpersonal communication. People tend to be more honest and truthful. Well, online you can lie. I can be anybody. I could be 6 foot, blonde haired, good looking, Prince Charming. You don't know my life. You don't know anything about it. The same thing when I'm talking to you face to face. I can lie to your face. Okay? So it's about the same. There is a program out there. I know people have told me about it. Catfishing or catfish, where people lie online. The same thing can happen face to face. Self-disclosure. Self-disclosure has 3 parts. This is where you share the information freely It must be significant to you, and it is not commonly known by others. These are the three components. It must be important to you, but what's important to you is not to me, but it is to you. Nobody tricks you. You share this information freely, and it is not commonly known by others. So if you guys have ever heard that term, skeletons in the closet, that's what this is. Some of you are maybe too young, some of you are old, some of you maybe have a little finger bone, some of you have a whole cemetery of bones in your closet. It's just, what do you keep secret? Okay? It talks about the breadth and the depth. There are some things you are more easily sharing with others, if that's even a sentence, I don't care. But, other things we keep personal. I share with you all that I wanted to become an instructor in college. That's something that's very known, considering I am an instructor in college. But I don't share the reason why I became one. I don't really share my hopes and dreams of what I really wanted to do with my life and didn't work out, and now I'm bitter and angry and teaching in college. But, that's another day. So, things like that. Some things you do share. Your major of college, you share. But why do you want to become that major? Maybe you keep it a little more personal. Things like that. Self-disclosure. This is known as Johari's window. I don't like this, but it's hippie, go hug a tree kind of stuff. If you want to know about it, please read about it in your book. And then you have benefits and risk. Make sure you know these. Read them in your book. Here's some guidelines. Like I said, you can read this in your book. Alternatives to self-disclosure. You do not have to share everything with everybody. You can keep a secret. So there's some alternatives. Keep your mouth shut. You don't have to share. Just because you share, remember, self-disclosure is to share deliberately and freely. Just because you shared a personal secret doesn't mean I have to share a personal secret with you. So I can just keep my mouth shut. I can lie. A malevolent lie. This is not a white lie. A malevolent lie is a lie that does not help you and it does not hurt you. Isn't that the truth? But it's a lie. Think about it. You get home at 5:58 p.m. and you say, what? I got home at 6 p.m. It's a lie. It's not the truth. But it's not hurting anybody. It's not helping you. My t-shirt costs $19.92. I paid $20 for it. It's a lie, but it's not helping you and it's not hurting you. That's what a malevolent lie is, okay? Equivocating is just where English, the words, have many acceptable meanings. So think about it when you say that's an interesting person. What does that mean? Are they creepy? Are they funny? It just has many acceptable meanings, okay? Hinting, maybe I did it, maybe I didn't. Who knows? Okay? Ethics, though, you need to be aware, though, of ethics. For some of you, it may become, I'll give you an example. Like for me, ethics-wise, if one of you discloses something to me as an instructor at Clovis Community College, I have to let my boss know. So if one of you comes in and says I'm being stalked and I'm scared for my life, I have to let people know. That's ethics. I don't have a choice. It's in my contract. I'm aware of this. I have to tell. I've been raped. I have to tell somebody that. I cannot just, if you tell me, please don't tell nobody, I can't. I have to legally. I'm bounded by my job. So that's what we're talking about, ethics. So people who are like social workers, counselors, some of you may go into a job where you have to, if somebody discloses something to you, you have to let others know. So be aware of the position you have and the job you have and stuff like that. Not everything is protected by confidentiality, okay? All right, this is a long video. I apologize for that, but sorry. We're done. Thanks.